Hello and welcome to Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel every day in the month of October. It chooses the horror movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about the 2007 film Paranormal Activity, which was directed by Oren Peli. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Erik.
Blair Witch Project, eat your heart out. There's a new found footage game in town and it's called Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are we on? What episode is this?
This is episode 4.
We're just getting started. We're
Yeah.
not even a week in, dude. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm great.
You doing okay? You're doing okay?
Yeah.
I watched this one really late last night. Really late, and it's not a great one to watch late, but yeah.
This is a great movie because it's super quick. This is like probably with the exception of Creature from the Black Lagoon, this is probably the shortest movie we've ever done.
It clocks in at what? 86 minutes?
86 minutes, but that's a full 86 minutes because there is like no credits.
Is there a title sequence? I don't even remember. Is there a title sequence?
There's definitely not like directed by or written by or any of that stuff or any cast members. It just
There's
goes
like the intro shit. Like, hey, like they found this footage.
Yeah, they try to hit home that Blair Witch thing where like this really happened. These people are fucking dead.
They're real people doing real things is real.
Yeah, but the worst part about all of this is the movie does a great job of making you believe it's real. And then, of course, the last shot of, not the final shot of the movie, but the last shot of the credits is like, this is all coincidence. It's not real. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's fine.
Just
And you're
kills
like,
it. Yeah.
I know, you're like,
why would you do that? Why would you do that?
if there's anything they could have done, just get rid of that. Because the second you read that, you just walk out of the theater, you're like, oh.
It just kind of, it deflates. It deflates all your fear. That's the word I'd say. Deflates my fear. Yeah.
That last bit. Yeah. But, dude, I remember when this movie came out. I didn't see it in 2007. I think I saw it in 2009. That's when I got that like wide release. So we were probably like 19-ish. And
yeah. I saw this in theaters, dude.
Me too.
I saw this in theaters. And I'll start with this. The most memorable part of this movie is not the movie. It's the trailer.
You mean like where
they show
the audience and they're like the scariest movie.
Yeah, the film reaction, dude. That's key to this movie's success. That was key. It's like if this was just a normal movie, it's some dude just filmed himself like in a bedroom for like a couple weeks. But the film reaction is what sold me. It's like I kind of want to experience what they're experiencing. If it's really that scary, and from other people, like it started there, and then words of mouth, like, dude, that movie is really scary. And then I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go see this. I did, and it was. I gotta say, the theater experience. I was scared. I was really scared leaving the theater. Still, even after the credits. I think I was like 19, 18, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but the trailer is by far the most memorable part, if I had to say.
I mean, you weren't scared?
Oh no, dude! I was very scared. I was very scared the first time.
This movie.
Did I say I wasn't scared? No, I was very scared. Yeah.
No. This movie. Yeah. This.
Am I downplaying it?
No. I just think, I mean, now we're looking at this, 10, 12, 13, or whatever, how many years later we saw this since then. But, dude, the first time I saw this movie, the first time I saw the second one and the third one, I was flipping out.
Did you ever see the fourth one?
I've seen all of them.
You've seen all of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We can talk about it later. But, the first three are, I love the first three. And then
I've only seen the first three.
Yeah, the fourth one is when you're like, they have like an Xbox Connect, and it's like it's a girl. She's like a teenage girl, and she has like, I think Hunter or whatever is her like neighbor. It's not good, not memorable.
Yeah, my experience was I saw the first one in theaters, really scared. I probably saw it like a handful of times, like 5 times. This is probably my 5th. Yeah, no, I mean it's a short movie. I've seen it a few times. I saw the second one in theaters too in 2010. And that movie, I don't think it was as good as this one.
No,
because it's not as original, but it has some like solid moments. It introduces like that baby camera one, which is like it's scary because it's a baby and it's like a baby like nanny cam.
Hunter.
And then I saw 3. Do you remember there was more like cult stuff to it, and it goes back to like Katie's childhood or whatever.
Yeah,
and they do like this one follows the one camera. That one has like multiple cameras set up. I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, after the third one, I was like, all right, I've seen enough activity. I've seen enough.
The first
that was my attitude.
First 3 are worth seeing. 4, 5, 6. I think there's like a spin-off too. Just you can forget all this. The 6th one is atrocious.
Yeah, dude. I mean, well, okay. This movie.
Yeah.
I give it an A plus plus for originality, and I give it a C minus for milking this cow, milking it all day long, milk that cow dry, because that's what this movie does. It
Why?
just completely, it made a ton of money. It made a ton of money for the buck.
I mean, that's the thing though. It's basically think about the time when this movie came out. It's 2007, so this is like 3 or 4 years into the Saw
Hmm.
franchise. The Saws ruled the 2000s, and then for this to come out, it was kinda like, "Hey, here's a non-gory, scary movie that's kinda taking some stuff from, Blair Witch Project and some demon possession movies."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you're right. They created one, and they came out, like, the next year, and the next year, and the next year. But what else are
Well,
they gonna do? Of course, dude, this movie cost $11,000 to make.
fake news. It
What?
was $265,000 to
Oh.
make.
Whoa, whoa, hold on,
It
hold
was
on.
okay, okay.
I also read that too.
It was
Okay.
a $15,000 production, so it cost 15,000 to film it, but they
Mhm.
put 250,000 in post production with all the like the fancy, the bed moves and all the noises and stuff and the sound design.
Okay.
It came to about a quarter of a million. Who gives a shit? This one movie made $194 million.
Yeah.
Out of control.
That
Out of
is
control. Like, yeah, like,
I'm
holy shit. Everyone involved in this film is set for life, and their, like, grandchildren, like, 4 generations onward are fine. Like,
okay,
this movie killed it.
really quick then, just all that. Guess how much these actors got paid to do this movie?
Oh, I hope they got paid a good amount.
Just guess.
I'm gonna guess, like, 5,000 each.
Wow, that's low, but it's, 500 each. They got 500
Oh,
bucks.
so you're messing with me. So I said 5,000, they got 500 each, like, Katie and Micah.
Yeah, so what happened is they were in their early 20s and they were just auditioning and they were living in LA. They found this listing online for an open casting. It was on LA Casting, which is, still exists. People use it. And yeah, Featherstone was paid $500 for her 7 days of shooting. So they filmed this in a week. They was just it was like 16-hour days for a week, and here's 500 bucks or whatever. And then there was no script really. It was all improvised. So basically, like it's a lot like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like Orlin Pelly guy had an idea where he's like, "All right, this is where we need to get in this scene. We need to make sure we mention this and this, but otherwise, go for it." And he just had them do improv. So they're literally they even I watched an interview with them that came out right after this movie came out, and they're just like, anything you see on screen is basically improvised. There wasn't a script. It's like there was
Yeah,
no
it's like kinda just, like, act naturally. Like, "Hey, we're gonna have you play with a Ouija board. Just act like you would play with a Ouija board."
right. But isn't that
Like, I feel
crazy?
uncomfortable playing with a Ouija board, so I'm gonna say I don't wanna play with it, like, and
But
just
isn't
film
that
her. Yeah.
That's $500. So that's probably like $10 an hour, and for them to have to improvise and be on set and be doing all this stuff, or, whatever. That's such little money, and then it explodes, and I think this was the most successful film of all time for the
Well,
cost.
I mean, first of all, I hope they had some kind of royalty involvement. If they walked away from a movie that made $200 million, I would expect them to make more than $500. I would hope to some degree they have some kind of royalty behind it.
They did say this. They were like, "Well, I heard you guys only got paid $500." In the interview they had. They're like, "You only got paid $500, so I'm hoping they gave you guys something." They're like, "They're not letting us go hungry." That's what they said.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like here's a bonus million or something. Like right off like, hey, you guys
Yeah.
killed it. We'll see you around for the second one. We'll negotiate contracts, but here's a little
Mm.
incentive to do the second
Well,
one.
the saddest thing of all this is in this interview, which came out in like, I think it was like 2008, you see them and they're like, "So what's the future like for you guys? This is the biggest movie in the world right now. What's going through your minds?" And they're like, "Oh, lots of stuff's looking up. We got scripts dropping in our laps. I feel like the future's gonna be bright." And then I look at both of them. They have not done anything since this.
I mean, they both were in like paranormal activity stuff. They're both named Micah and Katie. Micah is also the pride of Connecticut.
I know. I looked that up too.
Oh, jeez. Love it. Westport, Connecticut. He was 25 when he made this. Katie is from Texas, 23 when she made it. So these are young kids and pretty much getting into the film industry and what a film to get into and involved with. And then just,
No.
I hope they weren't, I don't think they were let out to dry. I think they got their bonuses, I'm sure, for this movie.
No.
I'm sure they were treated right. I would hope also this movie put Blumhouse on the map big time. Like Blumhouse was a thing, but this was like big time,
What
big time.
they had some other stuff before this though. They did,
Well, yeah, but you talk about the budget to profit. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, that's a straight up profit movie.
Yeah, you're right. For a new film studio to have a hit like that, that's big. That is huge. Yeah, especially for the you're right, the cost.
Yeah, and let's talk other. So Blumhouse also made, I mean, obviously Get Out, which Academy Award, Us, Halloween, Insidious, The Purge, Sinister. They have some good movies, but they have a low budget model like this where it's like, hey, we're gonna make a movie, experiment, not pay too much for it, give it a low budget, and see how it does. I mean, I don't know if they've had a lot of failures really. I haven't really, but there are some movies like Happy Death Day, which I'm like,
That
or
did
Happy
well.
Death. It did well, and then Happy Death Day too. It's like the kid, like the teenagers would want to go see those movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's the low budget model is great, and horror movies are just a great way to get into the film industry. I mean, most famous actors and actresses, like, they all get into it that way. Like a lot that I can think of off the top of my head: Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Aniston. There's tons of A-list actors that just got into horror.
Well, yeah, no, I'm looking here. You're right, obviously, yeah, with Johnny Depp and,
Oh, Johnny Depp. Like, yeah,
Jennifer
Johnny Depp. Ah, I
Aniston.
forgot about Johnny Depp. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of the.
but
He's, yeah.
I'm looking here and, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, Blumhouse was started in 2000, but they didn't really have they made, like, 4 movies from 2000 to 2009.
Mhm.
Then they did Paranormal Activity, and Paranormal Activity is
Put him on the map. Yeah.
100% the reason that we have Insidious and Sinister and
Halloween.
The Purge, all of it, yeah. But they did do one movie, man, which I really want you to see, and I keep forgetting to put it on here, but it's called Creep, and it is extremely low budget, just like this, just 2 actors. It's filmed very
Mhm.
similar to this as a found footage, but dude, it is amazing. It came out in 2015. 100% gotta get that on the next one 'cause,
Yeah.
I think you'll like that a lot.
Creep. Let's add that to the future wheel. Did they do what's that? Cloverfield?
That was Bad Robot. That was J.J. Abrams'
That
one.
was Abrams, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this clearly marketed off that Blair Witch Project success. I mean, this is like 7 years after the Blair Witch Project, and that was so successful, but this one, they're like, "Hey, why don't we, like, probably scare you in the" because, like, Blair Witch is like, you have to go into the woods, you have to be looking for this. This is, like, your house. This is the most normal
Yeah.
house in the world. That's what makes it so friggin' scary.
I think also you don't have to worry about daylight and nighttime. Filmed a lot during the night or during the day, and they made it work. You
Yeah.
know, it's an easy way to shoot something, and it's just crazy how strategic it was to make this movie.
Well, yeah, they just it didn't matter if there was good lighting, it didn't really matter what there was, they just had to, like, map out the house, be like, "Okay, this is where we're gonna put the camera," so they figured out that, like, the one facing the bed, that's gonna be a staple shot, I mean, it's right on the of the, poster, so that's gonna be, like, where the scary stuff happens, they're sleeping, blah, 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 but, yeah, ingenious, man, the simplest little stupid stuff,
Simple.
the door moves, your blanket moves. She just stands there for what seems like 6 hours. None of these things are really that hard to do, but they pull it off so well. And there's no
Right, and
music, that's what
yeah.
I think too. There's no music. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the music. There's nothing, right? There's just like at the end, there's a little like it's more just undertones, right? It's just like a
No. Well, yeah.
but that's not music, but
No.
that is it's sound design. It's all sound design and
It's the
banging and
hum. Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah,
so when the ghost is around, it makes this, like, very weird hum noise that you're like, "Oh, shit, like, it's probably interfering with the camera,"
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. You
But
hear the like it's middle of the night, and then all of a sudden you hear like the low. It's like ooh, that to me in the theater that was very frightening.
yeah, dude. I know that's the problem. I've seen this movie so many times now that, like, it's not scary at all to me anymore.
Here's the shitty thing, Alec. I hear all these movies coming like back into theaters, like Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, the Rocky Horror Picture Show comes into theaters all the time, and like every year you hear about like they come back and like the 25th anniversary of like Back to the Future. You hear all these movies. Paranormal Activity will never have that experience again because our generation just doesn't care. We'll just watch it again.
Well,
Would you agree with that?
you mean like if this was in theaters, would I go see it in theaters again?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you see in 20 years them doing like a release of like The Dark Knight in theaters and like we all go see
Um,
it again? Like everyone goes to see it again.
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, especially big movies like that. Like I saw Evil Dead
Yeah.
in theaters, maybe like 2 years ago. I saw The Exorcist in theaters a few months ago. So I mean, it was a drive-in, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that'll always be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this movie deserves that credit to be re-released in theaters again.
I would see this in theaters. I really would. I'd see it
The
again.
first, I mean, it just kind of fell through the cracks because of all the sequels, I think, more than anything. Because the
Maybe.
sequel came out like 2 years later, and it was just like boom, 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 sequel after sequel, and it's like you never really thought that they would have the opportunity to do a re-release. But it's like one of those opportunities, like, oh, this scared me so bad when I was younger. Like, I have a kid now who's like 17. I'm gonna show him the movie that scared me, and then take him to the theater. I don't think that'll ever happen with Paranormal
Well,
Activity.
let's say this. So it came out in 2007, but that was like when they were putting it to festivals and shopping it around. So like most people didn't see it until 2009. That's when it got picked up by Blumhouse and distributed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
dude, it's only been out for 11 years, really. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking big picture for the film. I think this film for the originality deserves that credit of a theater movie to be re-released someday.
well,
Like
yeah,
enjoy the experience that like, and they'll show like the trailer of like how everyone reacted in the theater back in like 2009 or whatever. I don't
dude,
know.
I would 100% this year, even if they were like, hey, it's a Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity double feature in theaters, I would 100%
Yeah,
go see that. That'd be
I would too.
amazing.
I would too. I would too.
'Cause those are 2
Yeah.
movies that, like, had the same marketing strategy, were trying to make it seem like it was real, showing the theaters, like, people are throwing up in theaters, it's so fucking scary. So, like, I would dude, I'd do that. I like that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I would just like to give this movie a little kudos for that, and it deserves that re-release someday. That's all I was saying.
I think that it does too, and it should get that, but who knows if it will. I don't know, I guess, like, the plot of this movie a little bit, just so we can kinda go into that. So, kinda
For
just, like,
sure.
starts off, they're a couple that just moved in together, they're in their early 20s. Micah is a day trader, so he does something with, I don't know, the stock market, and then Katie is a student trying to become an English teacher. She
Mhm.
has a demon that's been following her since she was 8 years old, and Micah basically the movie starts with him buying this huge camera for 2007 or whatever, and it's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna film this," and then that essentially provokes it, and within a month, they're dead.
Yeah. It's 21 days into the film that
Yeah,
happens?
and
Yeah,
I
I
I
think
thought
so.
it ended closer to Halloween. I don't know why when it ended on, like, October 6th or something, I was like, "Huh."
Hmm. Are they married? You said they're
No.
married, right?
No, they're not married.
No, they're not. They're dating
They're
in this
engaged to
house.
be engaged, that's what they say.
Engaged, yes, right, yeah, so engaged to be engaged. Talk about baggage, and she's very open with him about, like, this stuff. This is
Uh,
baggage, say like, there's daddy issues baggage, and then there's, like, "Hey, I have a demon that's been following me the whole time." This is Dr. Fredericks, who I've been seeing since I was a little kid. You know what
wait,
I mean?
you think that she was open with him? They have that conversation where he's like, "Hey, like, you
Kind
didn't
of.
you didn't tell
Well
me this."
well, here's the thing about Micah. He seems open enough to it where he's just like, "I wanna just film this. I just wanna film this." It's like, "Are you dating her to just film this stuff?" Like,
No, 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 no. Because, dude, they had that whole conversation where he's like, "I think I have a little bit of say in this because you didn't really tell me." Like,
yeah.
"What was I gonna do? Tell you on my first date?" He's like, "No, maybe on, like, our 30th date or before we decided
Yeah,
to move in
you're right,
together."
you're right. Yeah, so she's been hiding it from him, but, like, why now?
You're right, he probably sees this now as an opportunity to be like, "Oh my god,
Well,
I can get real paranormal activity on camera."
but, like, and the reason why is because if you do that stuff, which is like, hey, if you provoke it, if you try to film it, if you try to summon it with a Ouija board, if you try to do anything, if you try to bring Dr. Fredericks into the house, it's gonna piss whatever this demon is off. And it's like, Jesus, this demon is very slow rolling. You know what I mean? Like it's like, hey, 21 nights. Like first I'm gonna start walking around, and then I'm gonna knock a cup over, and
Mm,
then I'm gonna knock a frame off the wall and make some banging noises, and then I'm gonna slam the door, and then I'm gonna really get them appetizers going, and then after they whip out the Ouija board, ooh, it's time for the main entree, and then it's all
mhm.
downhill from there.
Yeah, well, that you're right, I was trying to think, I was like, "What started this?" Because you're right, once the Ouija board comes into play,
Well,
then all the wheels are off.
I
Well,
think it's the filming. It's the straight up when he started recording, it's like this demon got mad.
before that, though, because the reason he's filming is because stuff started happening. So, I have the answer, but it's not really fair because it's from the sequel, but from this movie, no sequel,
I don't
just
even
this
I
one.
barely remember the sequel, so please. Spoiler alert for anyone who is, like, dying to watch the sequel and
Yeah.
hasn't and just wants to listen to that. So spoiler alert, stop listening if you don't want the second one spoiled right now. So please.
Very quickly, just I mean, I'll just spoil this brief part, but basically, the whole idea is that it needs to be a boy host. It's kind of like Hereditary, but it needs to be a male host. So Katie's sister has a son now named Hunter, and he's like the lead little boy in the second one. And what happens is at the end of this movie, Katie smashes the camera. And then her character goes over to her sister's house and steals Hunter. So basically, I think what happened is the reason that Micah gets the camera, the reason that all this paranormal activity starts even happening just to Katie is because Hunter is now of age where he can be possessed. He's not a little baby anymore. He's like
Hmm.
2. So I think the
So the
demon's like
demon's
sleep.
like moving on almost.
No, the demon's getting ready. So he's been dormant. So the third one is when Katie and her sister are like 8 and 6 or whatever. And they talk
Yeah.
about that in this one where they're like, "Oh, the demon would
Well,
always
the
be above my
picture in
bed."
the attic
Yep.
is the
Yep.
house that was burnt down when they were kids.
In the third one. So that's from the third one, the picture, which is kinda cool that they, like, go back and they really honor the first movie and then pull things. So the pictures from the third movie, from the fire or whatever, where Katie's a little girl with her sister. Then in the second one, it's Katie's sister and then her son, Hunter, who's then gonna be the host to this demon or whatever. And I think what happens is right before the first Paranormal Activity movie, the demon's like, I've been waiting. Hunter's now old enough. I'm going to possess Katie, and then I'm going to have Katie steal Hunter, and I'm going to kill, the mom or whatever, all that stuff, Micah, everybody else. But I'm going to possess Katie. Katie's going to go steal Hunter. And I think that's probably why Micah's just provoking it.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense. That
but
makes
the
sense.
Ouija board is definitely what kicks it all off.
I think that's what like ignites it. Like literally, the thing catches on fire. But also, I always like the Dr. Frederick's character.
Yeah.
That was probably the part that made it feel the most real to me
Yeah.
because he came in and he had the reaction that was very believable.
Yeah. He was a good actor. He was
Where he
really
was
good.
just like, "I don't like this," and it just gave this, like, tense like, he really shouldn't be there
I
feeling.
know.
He
But
also got 10% of the, franchise's profit,
no
so not
way.
just this movie. No, I'm kidding, could you imagine this one character who's in there for, like, a few minutes, like, he's like, "I'll do this movie, but can I get, like, 10% of, like" let's say it becomes a franchise, "Can I get all those profits?"
That guy's like,
Like Alec Guinness of horror movie. Yeah, exactly.
I agree with everything you said. That guy's a great actor. That's what makes his movie intense. But I was kind of sitting there. I was like, if this guy, he's always says like, oh, any chance to get to drive to San Diego, and I'm imagining he's coming from L.A. because he talks about like you got to meet my demonologist. He's in L.A. Not
Mhm.
necessarily, but whatever. So he drove all the way there the second time, and
Yeah.
then he's like, oh, I sense it's bad. It's bad. It's like, well, dude, then clearly you are a threat to this thing because it doesn't like that you're there and you can sense it. So maybe you can do something or tell them to go to a church or anything, like any information.
That's what makes it so intense because 'cause we're so used to movies like The Exorcist where these types of people don't give up, and they don't just throw in the towel. They are like, "We're gonna save this child." Half the time, it's always the child, but this time it's, a 20-year-old
Yeah,
woman and her boyfriend or engaged to be engaged fiance, fiance to be fiance.
yeah,
So, he just kind of throws in the towel. He's like, this is a lot. I feel it. I feel its presence. It doesn't like me here. It's breathing down my neck right now,
yeah.
and I need to leave for
I
my
know.
sake and for your sake. That I don't remember. Does he give any even remote advice when he's leaving, or does he just take off? I'm trying to.
First time, all he keeps saying is, "Stop filming it, stop
Yeah,
provoking
just
it."
stop provoking it. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, don't play with Ouija boards, stuff like
yeah,
that.
and yeah, but, Micah doesn't listen, Katie keeps their
Hmm.
arguments get kinda repetitive where it's like, "Micah, put the camera away," and he's like, "Okay," and then 2 seconds later, the camera's out again.
Yeah. Stop putting baby powder on the floor, like stuff like that. Like,
Let me ask you this then. Shannon's possessed, okay? There's
yep.
clearly something going on in your guys' house. Obviously, the TV's turning on by itself. Shannon's
Hmm.
acting weird. Would you not just pick her up, put her in the car, and drive to a church?
Like tonight, let's say she starts like standing over me, sleeping while I'm sleeping. Yeah, yeah.
She's like, "No, I'm tired. Let's just stay here. No, no, no. Let's just stay." Like, no.
We're gonna go to church and we're gonna talk to some folks at the church. And I mean, I don't know how exorcisms work. It's like the exorcist probably has the best way. It's like first you got to document, then you got to film, then you got to like prove, and then they send someone from the Vatican over who's like the only exorcist. There's always like the only person left that does exorcisms, right?
Makes
So I mean, that's what this Katie woman needs. And if it happened to me in my life, shit. Yeah, I do things differently. I would not sleep I would not. Let's put it. I would just not sleep. First of all, yeah, I'll look real quick and not fart around. I
Dude,
wouldn't film it. I wouldn't provoke it. I would beg for whatever this thing is to just leave us alone, and I promise to be good, like not fuck with it. Like we're not
dude.
here to hurt you. I hope you don't hurt us, kind of shit. Like
There's so
please move on.
many examples. There's so many for them to just be like, "Okay, the Ouija board lit on fire by itself. Okay, there's a picture from your childhood from a fire above the bed. Oh, okay, we see demon feet on the floor. Okay, the doors
Yeah,
moving." And then just
chicken
show
feet. It looks like chicken feet. Come on.
right, okay,
Like
but whatever. It's not human. And then the other thing is Katie doesn't have any recollection of any of the shit she's doing at night. Guys, how many fucking red flags until you're like, "All
yeah.
right, we need okay, I get it. We can't go to like the Holiday Inn or whatever, but go
Well, it's
to a
like Poltergeist. Poltergeist, they just take off at the end.
dude,
Like that's what
you
you
go
gotta do. You just
to
gotta get out. You gotta get out of that area. But here's the kicker too. In this movie, they do a good job. It's like it's not the house. Like it's not a haunted house. It,
right.
it will continue to follow Katie.
So, you don't go to a hotel, you don't go to stay with your friend, you go to a either church or a synagogue or a mosque. You go to a religious temple and you fucking do anything because like, even if you can't
Or
get an ex
or or you go to Six Flags or like Walt Disney World and just have a good
why?
time and just like bring the demon with you. Just like, hey, demon, you just need a good time. You just need to go on a roller coaster with us and like get some cotton candy and like get a mouse ear thing, and then we'll all get along.
I
See,
mean,
like, that's all this demon needs, really, some TLC.
you're not that far off because if you, like, think about it, you're like, "What are these like, what do they do all day and night, demons?" Like, really, like, is because 'cause they're not doing much. They're just moving the door a little bit, all this other stuff. So, yeah, you're right. What if they were like, "Hey, let's just fucking show it a good time. Maybe it'll be our friend."
Yeah,
Like,
like that's my attitude. It's like, oh, it will follow Katie wherever you go. It's like, well, wherever we go, like, yeah. It's like, let's go book a trip to Disney World. They're like, we'll
"I'm
tap out.
going to Disney
Let's
World." It's like,
go on
"You've got a demon,
Universal.
Katie. Where you wanna go next?" It's like, "Disney World."
It's like, and then it's like, demon, thanks, man.
Yeah.
We had you all wrong. That's all.
But I've always wondered that in movies because like, they're always trying to possess people and then what? Just kill the person they possess? So it's like, what's the point, demons?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the whole
Or
objective
maybe
here?
just like what do demons like? They probably like take them to the where's the Annabelle doll?
Connecticut, Madison, Connecticut.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're gonna go to the Annabelle doll. It's like we're gonna take the demon with us, and like don't let the demon. Like demon's just sitting back, like what? You're gonna go there? Where are they going? Hell yeah! It's like that's a demon's like idea of like Wally World. It's like what? Where are we going?
The Haunted Mansion at Disney World? Yeah.
What? Oh my god! Like so excited. And just take it there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We always are so afraid of demons and ghosts and stuff like that, but, like, even in all of these movies, they're not doing anything besides just, like, knocking doors and stuff. Like, I don't know. You're right, Eric. You have a different approach. Maybe you should talk to an exorcist about this and be like, "Hey, you ever find this, like, showing it a good
Like,
time?"
hey, like I'm not like gonna sacrifice anything for it, but like, hey, like, do you ever think like it wants to? I want to like it's just freaking out. Like, I want to go to Universal. Like, no one ever takes me to like on the haunted hayride. Like, I'm stuck here in this house with you, Katie. It's like, all right, figure it out.
Yeah. It's just yeah, well, even Katie says the line where she's just like, "It can do whatever it wants. It can, be wherever it wants." It's like, "Well, why you then? What's so interesting about you?"
Well, yeah, it's stuck to her. It's
I
not.
know, but I
It's
know.
there's no place, so it's like good. Let's take Katie to wherever. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I think this movie, if you've never seen this movie, you're gonna love it the first time, and
Why are you listening to this if you haven't seen this movie? Like
yeah,
we're spoiling everything. But yeah,
I always feel that way too, but I don't know. I genuinely really like this movie, and it, unfortunately does get less scary the longer, you know,
yeah,
it's been, but this is a fantastic movie, so check it out. It's different, very similar to the Blair Witch, but just because it's found footage is really the only similarity. But,
yeah.
you got any last minute thoughts on this?
I mean, I just want to say Blumhouse. I mean, they know how to take lemons and just make limoncello and somehow traditional pizza from the Amalfi Coast of Italy. Like they just know how to just do something like take lemons and make something amazing. And they did. They've done it time and time again. So I give them a lot of credit.
Well, let's hope they can keep that ball rolling with Halloween Kills.
I hope so. I really hope so. Cannot wait for that film to come out in a couple weeks.
Couple
Less than a
days.
couple weeks. Little, yeah, exactly. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Alright, well, what do you say spin the wheel, Abby?
Let we shall. We shall. This is we're getting there. Not really, but spinning. Oh. We got Stephen King's Carrie.
Nice. We get to okay, sweet. So we're redoing that one. That's great. Cool. That was one that you always really wanted to redo. So
Yes, I very big fan of this film and book. Really excited to talk about it.
all right, cool. Well, perfect. Thank you everybody so much for listening in, and we'll see y'all tomorrow with Carrie.